Hi, I'm Olivia, and this is Ritual Kitchen, where I like to choose different topics, themes, myths, tarot cards, spiritual concepts, stories, and I like to use that as an inspiration for like a meal to pick, and then we have a little chat, we make some food, and see what happens. So I started this in January 2021, and so far it's fun and I want to keep on doing it, so I hope that you enjoy and stick along for the ride. Give me a like or a subscribe so that you find out when I make new videos. Since I called this channel Ritual Kitchen, I wanted to talk about what a ritual actually is, because it is a kind of laden word. People have different associations with it. Sometimes, the association is of someone with like 10 candles and all the incense lit, and they're in some kind of like a mystical robe, and it's nighttime and the wolves are howling and the moon is shining. So I just wanted to kind of talk about it in a maybe more down to earth kind of way. So what I've kind of realized about ritual is that basically it is just an intentional use of energy, and then we create a space and a time and a setting for it to happen, where these certain tools or the surroundings that we have can help us get some focus and clarity when we're trying to use our energy in a certain way. Basically, we are just trying to align ourselves to something that's bigger than us. That can be a group or the cosmos, or just a ritual is kind of about aligning your spirit, your emotions, your body, and your mind all in this like one moment. So before I do these videos, I actually make a point of having done yoga and having meditated beforehand, because I want to be grounded and healthy and have a good vibe going on. And so that's kind of the first way in which this is Ritual Kitchen, is that I make a ritual out of making these videos. A ritual can be about choosing to move with the times, move with the moon phases or the seasons, or the collective energies on the planet, with time, with nature. And when we do these things, we're actually less wasteful than if we were to go against it. So if you think about cooking with products that are in season or from your region, that is more in alignment and less wasteful than if we choose to ignore the time and space and season that we're in. But yeah, basically my main point, besides ritual being the intentional use of energy, is that a ritual doesn't have to include a million candles and some kind of incantation and a million tools and props. It's more about choosing a couple of things that help us get in the mood, which is something that we do quite naturally anyways. If you have a friend over, you make a cup of coffee, you're setting the intention to create the space or this moment where you can be still, where you have these smells and tastes of the coffee, where you use the energy of the coffee to facilitate conversation. Or if you think about going out dancing, you get ready, you shower, you put on a certain outfit that helps you take on your party persona or whatever that would be, and that's exactly the same thing. You're creating the space and the intention for how you want your evening, your next 10 minutes, your next day, your next week to go. So if you know of things that can help you shift into a certain mindset, like certain colors, certain outfits, music, candles, smells, sensory clues, then use them to, yeah, manifest with intention. That's kind of it. And so my edible ritual today is going to be a real hot chocolate made with real chocolate, which is cacao. Real cacao isn't actually that easy for us to find in Europe. The chocolate that we buy in stores and can get here is a kind of mess of different ingredients that have some of the original chocolate in it, but are really quite far from what the real thing is. Most of our chocolate products have had all of the cacao butter stripped out, dried in industrial processes. I once took a chocolate class in Peru a couple years ago where he took us through all of the chocolate details, you know, what it looks like before, what it looks like dried, and what the real differences are between cacao and chocolate as we know it. Yeah, it's quite incredible, and I've seen the real cacao pods in Indonesia, and also couldn't really believe that was what chocolate came from, because it was completely different. You know, they're like these big kind of purpley brownish reddish pods, and if you break them open, then they're just full of slimy white substance and membrane and these big white slimy seeds. And so it wasn't until I took this chocolate class in Peru that I learned that cacao is fermented. So basically these big slimy seeds are all taken and put in big boxes and left to ferment for, you know, days or weeks, I'm not quite sure. And then once they have fermented, they're dried, so sun-dried or roasted, and then they look like what we recognize as cacao nibs, or, you know, the whole structure before it's cut into nibs. So yeah, that's a little fun fact for you if you didn't know that chocolate is actually fermented. 5 points for Fermentation Club. A cacao pod has about 30 to 50 seeds in it that then get fermented, and pure cacao contains about 50% cacao butter, which is the part that gets stripped out for industrial chocolate. This is what cacao butter looks like. It's kind of similar to what we think of as white chocolate. And if white chocolate were authentically white chocolate, which is in the real chocolate world 100% cacao butter, then it would be very expensive. But the industrial white chocolate that we get is a little bit of cacao butter and a whole lot of sugar and vanilla flavoring and like milk powder. But real cacao butter, it just smells like chocolate, You don't expect it because it's white, but it smells like chocolate. I don't actually know what to do with this. I bought this like weeks ago before I even thought I was gonna make a video about chocolate. I just have it in my pantry and I smell it like every day because it's soothing. Yeah, but cacao butter is full of tons of healthy fats, omega-6 fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids, and pure cacao is just a great source of nutrients and magnesium and antioxidants. So if you do have the opportunity to get the real thing, real cacao butter, real cacao, then take that money, because it will be a little bit more expensive, and spend it because it is worth it, and it is closer to what the plant is and probably wants to be. Cacao also contains anandamide, which is a neurotransmitter that we also have in our brain and binds to our THC receptors. So it's also known as the bliss molecule. So yeah, if you've had a spiritual experience with chocolate, then it's probably because of that. And so as history has taught us, people have been using cacao or chocolate for, you know, ceremonial purposes for thousands and thousands of years. One way is by doing hot chocolate, but like, you know, the real hot chocolate with cacao. Rich and overwhelmingly sumptuous and delicious, and can also give you a little bit of a high, and apparently, you know, kind of activate some energy around your heart. Gives you like an expansive feeling. And yeah, so I mean, it's no wonder that chocolate is still used as like, you know, a heartfelt gift to other people. Even now, it may be a strange version that has been taken apart by various industries and rebranded and been manipulated and tooled with decades, centuries, I'm not sure, probably more like decades. A kind of underlying energy having to do with chocolate has still carried on in that kind of love vibe. So now I'm going to prepare some hot chocolate. I was able to find some 100% pure cacao at a Asian supermarket here in Berlin. I can vouch for this hot chocolate because I have had it in Oaxaca in Mexico myself. 100% natural. And so I'm gonna cut some of this up and then heat it up with some water and add some flavors to it. So this is about 125 grams of pure chocolate. And I'm going to be melting this in 200 milliliters of water. Here we have the chocolate chopped up. It's quite like crystalline. It's so rich. It's got such a different depth to it than anything that you get in stores. So I'm adding this to the water. And it's important to heat it to just before the boil, so don't let it boil because you don't want the chocolate burning, and you need to whisk it continuously because the chocolate sinks to the bottom of the pan, so be careful. While I'm letting that warm up a little bit, I'm gonna grind some rose petals because I'm gonna add some rose and some cardamom to my cacao. It's important to do this with water and not with milk. A little bit of cardamom, ground up rose petals, and some cinnamon. This particular kind has some added sugar, so don't add too much, but it is 100% cacao. Okay, so I've warmed up my cacao sufficiently, and I'm gonna use one of my tiny Mexican beautiful cups to drink my cacao in, and I'm gonna go and hang out in my room and enjoy the taste and just chill. So yeah, it's a dream. Can't really compare to industrial Western chocolate. Extremely rich and sumptuous, whole other ball game. If you can, then try and get yourself some real cacao and try it out and make an event out of it. Make a ritual out of it. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you learned something, and give me a like, give me a subscribe, send this to a friend who might enjoy it. And I'll see you next time.